bring in Jamal Abdi, who's president of the National Iranian American Council, joins us now from Washington, D.C. Let's talk about the incident, first of all. It certainly happened. There is no doubt about that, the shooting down of this U.S. drone. The argument is over where it happened. What's your take on all this?
My take is that we need to get to the bottom of these details before any potential action is taken. The Trump administration's credibility on this is so low right now. And I think that what we've been seeing is sort of this game of chicken in reverse, where the United States is trying to goad Iran to do something stupid. Iran is trying to goad the United States into doing something stupid. How about, as the bottom line, all sides agree, let's not do something stupid and let's get to the bottom of this before we do something that we can't reverse course on, like military strikes.
Right, exactly that. I mean, all this goading has been taking place, and chiefly from the United States. And sooner or later, something like this was bound to happen, wasn't it?
This is actually exactly the playbook of some of the influential folks inside the White House, like John Bolton, of folks like Tom Cotton in the U.S. Senate. This is exactly what this maximum pressure policy was supposed to lead to. The idea, despite sometimes they say the idea was to put Iran under so much pressure that they come back to the negotiating table pleading with the United States to relent and that they will completely change the nature of their regime in exchange. This is complete nonsense, and I don't think anybody has put that argument forward in good faith. In reality, the game plan was that Iran was abiding by the nuclear deal. Iran was beginning to actually look like a quote-unquote normal country, and this policy was intended to try to draw the worst out of Iran and empower the worst elements inside of Iran to do things that could then justify a U.S. escalation and this military strike that people like John Bolton, like Senator Tom Cotton, like Secretary of State Mike Pompeo have been talking about for years, and now they are on the brink of actually achieving that goal.
What was your sense of what President Donald Trump was saying? Because he seemed to be pushing back on the concept that they're looking for conflict. When he was saying that Iran made a mistake, he reckoned it was a general or someone, as he put it, who made a mistake. He says, I have a feeling it was a mistake made by someone who was doing what they shouldn't be doing and just made a catastrophic error.
Well, I think we are watching Donald Trump learn about international diplomacy in real time. And it seems like he recognizes that some of this bluster and this bluffing about what the United States is willing to do and trying to put Iran on its back heel, how limited that actually is. Because the Iranians are not like North Korea. They are not looking for a photo op with the United States president. And so what I think we're seeing is this very confused policy where the left hand isn't talking to the right hand. The president isn't necessarily coordinating with John Bolton. And there's a big question mark. Who is actually running this policy? Is it John Bolton running the policy from behind the scenes? Or is it Donald Trump running the policy by tweet and, occasional media statements? And I don't think anybody knows. And I think the White House needs to figure that out pretty quickly before this goes awry.
And what about the response on Capitol Hill? So the Democrat Nancy Pelosi saying no one wants conflict, Republican Lindsey Graham concurring with that, but also saying that we are much closer to conflict today than we were yesterday, and that if Iran keep pushing the envelope, as it were, if we don't react, we'll just show the rest of the world, North Korea, etc., that we, the United States, are all talk.
Yeah, I mean, it's ironic that Lindsey Graham is so worried about the United States' credibility when he supported the United States withdrawing from the nuclear accord, which is an agreement negotiated by all of the world's powers in Iran. Think about the message that sends to the rest of the world, that the United States is all talk, that we can't be bound to our agreements. The notion that anybody doubts that the United States military can fire some strikes into Iran or do whatever it wants, that's not up for debate. What is up for debate is whether whether the United States is a normal country that adheres to its agreements, and whether the United States is repeating the Iraq affair that so badly discredited U.S. foreign policy. That is really what is at stake here. And I'm actually pretty disappointed in the response of the Democrats, who are supposed to be the opposition party, who were elected to be the majority in the House of Representatives, and who have failed to take real formal steps to rein in this president. They know John Bolton's in the White House. They know Mike Pompeo thinks that bombing Iran would be easy, and yet they haven't passed any legislation to make it clear that Donald Trump doesn't have the authority to strike Iran. And even now, I see a lot of hand-wringing. The fact of the matter is, if this is not, if the United States decides they want to strike Iran and it's not a defensive act, it's not in response to a direct, immediate threat, they need to go to Congress, and Congress needs to assert that because I don't see them doing that. And this is not a time to be sort of cowering and looking at the political winds. We are on the brink of something catastrophic. And so I hear the Republicans talking very loudly. I don't hear the Democrats pushing back nearly hard enough.
Jamal Abdi, President of the National Iranian American Council, do you appreciate your perspective on this? Excellent. Thank you very much.